It's so wild. But but I think about this too is like, do you feel like when you're trying to pursue God in some way, shape, or form, like you feel God calling you to like a new season of ministry, or to like a new season of life, or like He's calling you to some sort of like new adventure or growth? Do you feel like spiritual warfare kind of like ramps up in those moments when you feel that God is calling us and we're trying to pursue Him?
Yeah. I was actually just talking to Chris Gens about this last weekend.
Oh yeah.
And he asked, like what my experience with spiritual warfare was. And I was like, and he's like, is it really bad as a pastor? And I was like, actually, it's been easier for me as a pastor than it was when I was studying to become a pastor.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because it was like, which makes sense, because it's like, let's stop her before she ever gets there.
Yeah,
And so the time when I was an assistant and in seminary, and then when I was in my residency, the spiritual warfare was profoundly vivid during that season of my life. And like, praise Jesus, made it through.
For sure.
I'm not going to say that I haven't experienced spiritual warfare while being a pastor, because I definitely have.
Right.
But like the time when I was studying to become a pastor and going through the process to become a pastor and getting licensed to become a pastor and then getting ordained, that process was by far the most intense that I've dealt with to date. Yeah. Now, obviously, I hope that stays true for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
but
hopefully.
It might not.
If we say if you stay the course, it's probably not gonna. Probably like not going to be that way. Was that a stink bug?
It was a bug.
Okay.
It needed to leave my presence.
Squirrel. Yeah, I feel like even for me too, like with that, like I remember like at the church I was working at previously, like one of the things like that the senior minister pastor would always say, he's like if you're not feeling some sort of angst, like some sort of pull, then you're probably not doing your job right. Yeah. Like you're not being as effective as you want to be. Because the devil or Satan or the schemes have just kind of like lulled you into some form of like either like laziness or feeling like you could like like everything is good, so I can just keep like just like it's like status quo, and so like if you're not feeling some sort of tug, then you might need to check yourself. Yeah,
like even when I went to Exponential in November, they had a moment where you could go forward for prayer at the end. Yeah, and I hadn't even talked to the woman who was praying, and like she just started praying for me, and then she stopped and she asked me some questions after. And then she was like, I feel like you're experiencing a lot of spiritual warfare now. And I was like,
how'd you guess? Yeah, how'd you guess? Yeah.
So yeah, because it makes sense though, because I literally got hired to help with discipleship at Inspire, something that like hadn't been quite developed yet here, So of course that makes sense, because that would cause people in the church to learn more about God and grow closer to God.
And that's not what the enemy wants. Yeah, exactly. That's like the opposite of what the enemy wants.
It makes sense,
makes total sense. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that process is definitely more profound the more you're like, like I've told people that like if Satan's not attacking you, it's either because you're feeling relief for a moment or because you're not dangerous for the kingdom of God.
Yeah, bingo.
And that can be received insulting.
No, yeah, exactly. But really?
But I think that's why so much of the American church is just comfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
I'd agree with that.
Like even Revelations talks about like the lukewarm follower, like I'll spit you out of my mouth.
Right.
Because
you're just
if you're comfortable, you're not growing.
Right. Yeah, you're not growing. You're not either not taking it seriously or just not. Sometimes is like disconnecting there.
Yeah. Or as we talked today in the devotional, wholehearted. You're not wholehearted.
Right. Yeah.
Be a little split-minded. So there's that.
Yeah.